What if a single act of kindness led you to your own execution? What if the only thing standing between you and freedom was a promise you made? This is a story from before the rise of Islam, a tale of a king, the nomad, and a promise that would change the fate of an entire city. It's a story about what happens when honor is tested in the most extreme way possible. Once, the mighty King Al-Nuʿman ibn al-Mundhir was out hunting. His spirited horse, Al-Yamam, bolted, carrying him far from his companions and deep into the unforgiving desert. As the sky opened up and rain began to pour, the lost king desperately sought shelter. He stumbled upon a humble tent, the home of a man named Hanzala from the tribe of Tay, who lived there with his wife. "May I take shelter here?" the king asked, his royal status hidden by his rain-soaked clothes. Hanzala, a simple man, welcomed the stranger without hesitation. He helped the king dismount, unaware that he was hosting the most powerful man in the region. Hanzala owned nothing but a single goat. He turned to his wife. "This man has a dignified air about him. He must be someone important. What can we offer him?" His wife replied, "I have a little flour I've saved. Slaughter our goat, and I will bake bread." And so they did. The woman baked fresh bread, and Hanzala prepared a rich stew called madira, cooking the goat meat in its own milk. They served their guest the best of everything they had, a feast of meat and milk. Afterward, Hanzala sat and talked with Al-Nuʿman late into the evening, treating him not as a stranger, but as an honored guest. The next morning, as the king prepared to leave, he put on his royal garments and mounted his horse. Only then did he reveal his identity. "O man from Tay," he declared, "I am King Al-Nuʿman. Come to me, and I shall reward your generosity." Hanzala simply replied, "I shall do so, God willing." The king rode off, reunited with his men, and returned to his grand city of Al-Hir. Time passed. Hanzala and his family fell on hard times. Disaster struck, and they were plunged into poverty. "Why don't you go to the king?" his wife urged him. "He promised to be generous to you." So, Hanzala journeyed to the city of Al-Hir to seek the king's favor. But Hanzala's timing could not have been worse. He arrived on the king's day of doom. You see, King Al-Nuʿman had 2 special days, a day of bliss, when he would shower gifts on the first person he met, and a day of doom, when he was bound by a solemn vow to execute the first person he saw. As Hanzala approached the palace, the king stood outside, armed and surrounded by his horsemen. Al-Nuʻman's eyes widened when he saw the approaching figure. He recognized him instantly. "Are you not the man from Tay who hosted me?" the king asked, his voice filled with dread. "Yes, I am," Hanzala replied, oblivious to the danger. "Could you not have come on any other day?" The king lamented. "How could I have known of this day, your majesty?" Hanzala asked, confused. The king's face was grim. "By my vow, even if my own son appeared before me today, he would have to die. Ask for any worldly thing you desire, for you are doomed." Hanzala was stunned. "Your majesty, what use are worldly things to me when I am about to die?" "There is no other way," the king insisted. A heavy silence fell. Then Hanzala spoke. "If I must die, then grant me one request. Let me go to my family, settle my affairs, and ensure they can survive without me. I give you my word that I will return to face my sentence." The king considered this. "A promise is not enough. Find me a guarantor, someone who will die in your place if you fail to return." Hanzala looked around at the king's court. He turned to Shark, one of the king's closest companions, but Shark refused to risk his life. The crowd murmured. Who would be foolish enough to guarantee the return of a condemned man? Then a man from the Kalb tribe named Qurayd ibn Ida stepped forward. "I will be his guarantor, your majesty," he said calmly. The court gasped. "King Al-Nuʻman, moved by this display of trust, agreed. He ordered that Hanzala be given 500 she-camels as a gift for his family and set a date for his return, 1 year from that very day. Hanzala took the camels and departed for home. A year passed. The day of reckoning arrived. King Al-Nuʿman said to Qurayd, the guarantor, "Prepare yourself. If Hanzala does not return by sunset, you will die in his place." In the morning, the king, his soldiers, and a massive crowd gathered at the execution grounds, a place marked by two tall pillars called Al-Gharyan. Qurayd was brought forward. The king was torn. He secretly hoped Hanzala wouldn't return so he could spare Qurayd. His ministers advised him, "You cannot kill him before the day is over." So they waited. As the hours ticked by, the sun began to sink towards the horizon. Qurayd was made to stand on the leather execution mat. The executioner stood beside him, sword drawn. Just as the sun began to set, a lone figure was spotted in the distance, a tiny speck racing across the desert plain. "Wait," the people shouted. "You cannot kill the guarantor until we see who that is." The execution was halted. The figure drew closer, and the crowd held its breath. It was Hanzala. He had returned. King Al-Nuʿman was both amazed and distressed. "Why?" the king demanded as Hanzala dismounted, breathless. "Why did you return when you had already escaped death?" "Faithfulness to my promise." Hanzala replied simply. The king was deeply moved. "And what inspires such incredible faithfulness in you?" "My religion," Hanzala said. "And what is your religion?" the king asked. "I am a Christian," Hanzala explained. He then proceeded to tell the pagan king about the principles of his faith, about compassion, forgiveness, and keeping one's word. The king listened, captivated. What he heard that day changed him forever. In that moment, he embraced the Christian faith, and so did all the people of Al-Hira who were with him. He pardoned Hanzala. He then turned to the crowd and declared, "By God, I do not know who is the more honorable of these two men, the one who returned to be killed or the one who guaranteed his return with his own life. But I swear, I will not be the least honorable of the three of us." From that day on, King Al-Nuʿman abolished his day of doom. He commanded that the execution pillars of Al-Gharyan be torn down, ending the brutal tradition forever. An entire city was transformed by one man's integrity and another's willingness to trust him. Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of history and honor. See you next time.